Hi there. I want to start by reading from Jesus' words to his disciples the night before he died, from John chapter 15, verse 12. This is my command. Love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I do not call you slaves anymore, because a slave does not know what his master is doing. I've called you friends, because I've made known to you everything I've heard from my Father. You did not choose me, but I chose you. This is the word of the Lord. There's an old hymn board in the church at St Mark's, and on that hymn board there's a number of hymns, and they were the last hymns that we sang at the last 8 o'clock service a number of years ago. And one of those hymns was "What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer." And what a friend we do have in Jesus, and we'll talk about his friendship in a moment. But of the many themes that are raised in Proverbs, I wanted to start with friendship, very simply for the reason that our family devotion this Tuesday night was on what Proverbs teaches us about friendship, because Evie and I have been thinking about that together. And Priya, of course, has been thinking about that with us as well. What does it mean to be a friend? And so we're going to jump into the book of Proverbs and think about some of the things the book of Proverbs says about friendship. And I want to note a couple of weaknesses of my approach here. One, I'm not going to cover all the verses that mention friendship. Two, there's different words for friend. So sometimes the word neighbour might be used. So there's a proverb that says, don't visit your neighbour's house too regularly or he will hate you. So there's a number, I'm not going to be able to cover all that Proverbs says. And you could do it, several devotions on friendship and the way that friendship in the book of Proverbs points towards what it means to be Christian brothers and sisters. So there's a weakness there. Another weakness is I'm plucking Proverbs from all over the book. And there is something to be said for reading them in their context, but we just don't have time to do that properly today. So I encourage you, why don't you do that yourself? Why don't you check out the different Proverbs I mentioned and check them out in context? But let's start and have a look at some of them and see what we can learn from the book of Proverbs about friendship. Proverbs 12, verse 26. The righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. In the New Testament we hear, bad company corrupts good character. Our friends really do have an impact on us. Think of King Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, who listened to his drinking buddies instead of the wise men of Israel. And because he listened to his drinking buddies, he lost control of 10 of the tribes of Israel to Jeroboam. Bad company does corrupt good character. And so the righteous choose their friends carefully, because our friends will actually shape who we are, for good or ill. Proverbs 14, verse 20. The poor are shunned even by their neighbours, but the rich have many friends. There's a number of times that this is mentioned. And I think the best New Testament example of this is the parable of the prodigal son, who has so many friends when he's spending his dad's money, but when he runs out of his inheritance, all of his friends disappear. Not all friends are true friends. And one of the applications of this is to actually think carefully. Does this person love me for who I am, or for what I am, or for what I have? I want them to love me whatever I have, whoever I am. And a friend like that is rare. Proverbs 16:28. A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. Conflict and gossip can be so destructive to friendships. Words are so powerful. Sticks and stones may break my bones and words may never hurt me is simply not true. Gossip is destructive to friendship. Proverbs 17, verse 17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. It's a wonderful proverb, isn't it? This is not the kind of friend that loves you only because you've got money. This is the friend that loves you because they are your friend, a true friend. And a true friend loves you at all times. They love you when you're happy. They love you when you're suffering. Oh, we should foster friendships like these, pray for friendships like these, and pray that we would be friends like these. I regularly pray for Evie, Lizzie and Casey that they would be good friends and that they would have good friends. I think of the example of David and Jonathan from 1 Samuel, what a beautiful friendship they had. Of course, when we think about a friend who loves at all times, isn't it wonderful to know that we have the ultimate friend in Jesus? That he calls his followers friends. That we didn't choose him, but he chose us. What a friend we have in Jesus. Proverbs 19 verse 6. Many curry favour with a ruler, and everyone is a friend of one who gives gifts. Friend. Not all friends are real friends. Some friends are in it for the benefits. I really love this one. Proverbs 22 verse 11. One who loves a pure heart and who speaks with grace will have the king for a friend. Godliness does pay and crime doesn't. When you have a pure heart, when you love the Lord, when you live with integrity, it's no surprise that each year in the Southern Cross magazine we hear about Sydney Anglicans who have been given Order of Australia medals or citizenship medals and so on, because with integrity of heart and grace-filled speech, they have served the community, loved people, and have been honoured for it. Crime doesn't pay, integrity does, normally. And think of 1 Peter as well, that we ought to live such good lives among the non-believers, that though they might accuse us of doing evil, they will see our good works and glorify God on the day he visits us. And let me finish with this one. This is my favourite proverb on friendship. Proverbs 27 verse 6, which says, wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. Growing up, I was generally close to my mum, but there was a time in my teenage years when I was often extremely rude to her. I can remember times when my mum would come to my room and I'd turn and say, no, before she even had time to speak. And I felt good about that. And one of my friends, Jeremy at school, when he heard about that, he said, Dave, you are so disrespectful to your mum. That's horrible. And it was my friend actually having the guts to tell me the truth about my sin that made me realise I am being horrible to my mum and I need to stop. And so that's a real friend, isn't it? A real friend is someone who will tell you the truth about yourself even though it hurts, because they love you and they want you to live well. I guess, you think of that, the righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. Well, the wicked choose friends that affirm their wickedness, but the righteous choose friends who challenge their wickedness. And think of the way that Jesus is our friend. Jesus, when his disciples didn't trust him in the boat, you of little faith, why did you doubt? He told Peter the truth the night before he died, 3 times you will deny that you know me. He spoke true words to his friends because he wanted the best for them, and he wanted them to live the best life they could in service of God, in love for him and their neighbour. And of course, Jesus is not only the friend who spoke truth and speaks truth to us in his word, but he is the friend who was wounded for us, that we might live. A friend loves at all times. Friends, isn't it great to know that Jesus is our friend? Wouldn't it be great to spend some time reflecting on these proverbs, thanking God for the friends he has given us, praying that we would be good friends to the friends he has given us? If we don't have many friends, praying that he would give us friends for our benefit and theirs, but ultimately thanking him for the friend who chose us, who we didn't choose, but he chose us, and who laid his life down for us that we might live. Amen.